Hey guys, I just finished watching SummerSlam 2021, and I just thought I'd make a video, talk about what I thought of the show. Now, I'll admit, I haven't been watching a lot of WWE a lot lately. I've mainly been watching AEW. I just put out the video about the first episode of Rampage. But, SummerSlam's one of their main pay-per-views. And I'm still subscribed to the WWE Network, or rather, Peacock. I figured I might as well do the video, tell you people what I thought. So, overall, I thought the show was pretty good, It was a little long, so that's why I'm on the GoPro today, rather than just doing it off my phone, because the show was, about 5 hours long, plus another 2 hours for the pre-show, It was about 9 hours long, So I have a bunch of notes here of what I thought about each individual match and each individual section. So let's just get right into it, okay? Yeah. So since I have been watching WWE a lot lately, I'm not all the way up to speed on all the storylines and all the wrestlers over there, but there were a lot of familiar faces for me. So pre-show match had Big E versus Baron Corbin. Apparently Baron Corbin's been going through a lot of rough patch in his life, and I thought that was pretty funny. So I think story-wise it's pretty good. Baron Corbin had the Money in the Bank briefcase, which apparently Big E won. So Baron Corbin stole it. I think that's pretty good, because I always think it's interesting. We kind of have this trophy that can be transferred amongst different wrestlers, so I think it's pretty creative. I think it's pretty good. Big E ended up winning with the big ending. I thought it was pretty good. It's good to. It was a good pre-show match. It was pretty good. So first match on the main show was RK Bro, which is Randy Orton and Riddle versus AJ Styles and Omos. Now, I love AJ Styles. I think he is a pretty good wrestler. This Omos guy, he's still fairly new. So, he didn't really do too much in this match. It was mostly Styles. But I thought that was pretty good, because it sort of hid his, his inexperience. But in the end, it was a fairly short match. RK Bro, Randy Orton won with the RKO. So we got new champions there. So that's pretty good to get new champions. People seem to really like the RK Bro team. So, it's pretty good. And, Styles, as always, he was pretty good too. So the next match was Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. Now, I tell you, well, Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good match to have right there. Eva Marie, she's gotten pretty good, but she's not pretty good, if you know what I mean. But, she's definitely gotten better. Alexa Bliss had this doll, I think his name was Lily, and Eva Marie started slapping it around. That kind of made Alexa Bliss go crazy, which I think was pretty good. I don't remember exactly what Alexa did, what the finisher was on it, but Alexa won. But overall, I thought that match was pretty good. Dewdrop was there too, but she didn't really do much in the match, but I think that's pretty good, because it kind of, it's setting up Eva Marie to have to sort of stand on her own, and it's also setting up Dewdrop to go off on her own as well. So you get 2 stars out of this whole thing. So I think that's pretty good. Next up was Damian Priest versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. I thought this match was pretty good, you know. Towards the end, Sheamus has this face guard on because I guess he broke his nose or something. I don't really know, but you know, Damian Priest took off the face mask and started attacking the nose, and I thought that was pretty good. You know, it's pretty good psychology there, you know. And yeah, Damian Priest hit this move. It kind of looked like the Twist of Fate, but I guess I think they call it the Reckoning. You know, I don't know. But, you know, he won, so we got a new United States champion there. Pretty good match. Everyone seems to be really behind Damian Priest, so it's pretty good. Next was the Mysterios versus the Usos for the tag team titles. So this was a little bit of a longer match, you know. There was a lot of good stuff. There was, you know, when you got the Mysterios and you got the Usos, you're gonna get a lot of fast kicks and a lot of flips, and that's pretty good. You know, Dominic Mysterio, he's obviously, you know, the least experienced of the bunch, but you know, he was still pretty good. You know, don't get me wrong. He can still hang with the boys. You know, so the Usos ended up retaining through a combination of kicks and splashes, so I think that's pretty good. You know, the heel Usos, probably one of my favorite things in WWE, more recent WWE, is whenever there's heel Usos. The heel Usos are pretty good. So next, some guy was there playing the guitar for Shinsuke Nakamura, who is the Intercontinental Champion. And, you know, that segment was pretty good. You know, I think I would have preferred if there was an actual title match for the Intercontinental Championship. But, you know, getting them on the show, getting this, you know, it was a fun little entertaining segment, so I thought that was pretty good. Okay, so, next up was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title, which is a WrestleMania rematch. So that's pretty good. You know, I always love me a good rematch. You know, it worked once. Why not try it a second time? Gonna be just as good, am I right? But unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see this match. You see, I had to put my kids to bed during that time. But you know, I can pretty. I think I heard on Reddit that it was pretty good. So I don't know what exactly happened, but you know, I saw the thread for the match, and it had like 1,000 comments in it, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm not going in there because I don't want to see me any some spoilers. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that match, but I'm pretty much calling it right now that match pretty good, boy. So after that was Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. So, you know, you had two members of 3MB going against each other, which I think is pretty good. You know, kind of old teammates going against each other. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the other feller, I forget his name, but the other member of 3MB, Heath Slater, I think his name is. Yeah. It's unfortunate he's not still with the company, so it could be a triple threat match. I think that would be pretty good. But, you know, this match was still pretty good too. So, let me check my notes. Okay. Good sequences. Drew won with the Claymore. So, that sounds pretty good to me. Okay. So, next match was, Nikki Cross, Nikki ASH, almost superhero, versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Nikki Cross came out first. And when your champion comes out first, it's never a good sign, you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but it's a pretty good sign that there's gonna be a title change. Okay, so Charlotte. Charlotte had some very strong offense. At one time she countered a double suplex into a double DDT. I thought that was pretty good. And, Charlotte won with the figure 8 on Nikki ASH. So that's pretty good. New champion. Now Charlotte is a 12-time women's champion in, just under, 6 years. So I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good accomplishment there. How long did it take Ric Flair to become a 16-time champion? At this rate, Charlotte's gonna be like a 50-time champion by the time she retires. Am I right? So, she's pretty good. The next match was Edge versus Seth Rollins. So Edge did his Brood entrance, which was pretty good. It was kind of unfortunate that they couldn't get Christian and Gangrel to do the entrance with them, but just Edge doing the Brood entrance, that was pretty good. So there was a lot of back and forth. Rollins was obviously focusing on Edge's neck, which was pretty good. You gotta have good psychology in your match. You gotta target your opponent's weakness. That's just good psychology. That's just good in-ring psychology, you guys. So that's pretty good. At one point Rollins countered a spear into a pedigree. That was pretty good. And after multiple submissions, Edge won with the headlock. And that's pretty good. I mean, you don't usually see someone, win with a headlock. But if anyone can pull it off, I mean, it's the rated R superstar, you guys. Edge. There's a reason Lita left that loser Matt Hardy to be with Edge. It's because he's the rated R superstar. Okay. So, after that, there was a Miz and Morrison promo that was interrupted by Xavier Woods, dressed out as Scott Hall. He came out, he did the whole classic NWO survey promo, and then he squirted them with a bunch of water. I thought it was pretty good, it was pretty funny, you guys. They got them all wet, they were flip-flopping all over, they couldn't stand up, it was pretty good. The next match was Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg for the WWE Championship. Lashley came out first. And like I said, you guys, in case you didn't know this, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if a champion comes out first, usually that's a pretty good sign that there's going to be a title change. So when I noticed Lashley was coming out first, I was getting ready for it, man. I was getting ready for spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, Goldberg. But you know what? That's not what happened. That's pretty good, keeps you on your toes. So, the crowd was not having Goldberg at all. They were squarely behind Lashley. The match was much longer and more competitive than I thought it was going to be, because, typically Goldberg matches are done in like 3 seconds. This match went on for a good 3 minutes, so that was pretty good. Goldberg went down with a hurt knee, and the match ended. After that, Bobby beat down Goldberg and his son, and that was pretty good, because, that sets up the rematch for Extreme Rules. I think we're going to see Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg in an Extreme Rules match. The next pay-per-view coming up, we think we already got our main event, you guys, and I think that'll be pretty good. You know, Bobby Lashley and Goldberg in an Extreme Rules match. So, the main event time, it was Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. So, John Cena had this new shirt based off of Super Mario Bros. 3, the title art. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you know, I thought that shirt was pretty good. I'm a big fan of Super Mario Bros. 3. It's a pretty good game. If you've never played it, you should. You know, it's one of my favorite games. You know, I think I would rate it in my top 10 list of favorite Nintendo games. I think I would probably rate it number 7, which is pretty good. So, you know, I think I might get that shirt. Roman Reigns' entrance, it was really long. I noticed. I thought it was almost too long. But, you know, he is the champion, and he deserves to soak it in, you know? So, he's doing things on his term, and you know why? It's because he's the champion. So, from that mentality, it makes sense. So, it's pretty good. Okay. There was good pacing in the match. Roman did a lot of trash talking against Hollywood in the 5 moves of doom, which I thought was pretty funny, you know. But you know, one thing that I noticed was that John Cena had a pretty big bald spot, you know, and you know, but you gotta remember, he's like 45 years old, so of course he has a bald spot, and you know, he's still pretty good in the ring. You know, he can still go. So, you know, so what? He's got a bald spot. Okay? So, Roman Reigns was kicking out of, you know, finishers, an AA through the table, AA off the top rope. I thought it was pretty good. Made Reigns look really strong. And since he's the champion, you know, he's got to look pretty good. You know, but in the end, Roman Reigns won with his 3 moves of doom, which is a Superman punch, another Superman punch, and then a spear. So, you know, Reigns won. John Cena still hasn't gotten that 17th World Championship yet, but you know, Roman Reigns gets to stay in WWE, so that's pretty good. But, you guys, it gets better. After the match, Brock Lesnar came back. Okay, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not. I don't know if you know this, but remember, Paul Heyman used to be Brock Lesnar's manager, and now he's Roman Reigns' manager. So that sets up a bit of conflict there, on top of the fact that Brock Lesnar probably wants the Universal Championship. So I think we got our main event for Extreme Rules set. You know, so that's pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. So, you know, this is the first WWE pay-per-view I've watched in a while. But overall, I thought the show was pretty good.